This most dangerous game, as they refer to it, was a matter of human hunting. And when a mind control slave such as myself was stripped of clothes and turned loose in the wood, I was then hunted by George Bush, Dick Cheney, and Bill Clinton, among others. But they were the main ones.
We're going to stand right next to me. There you go. And then we're going to have...
There you go.
Got it? Okay.
Okay, and the people in the back, you can spread out a little bit.
Oh.
I'm saying that there are people that were the people that did this to both me and Corey that are still working, they're still out there, and they're some of the richest, most powerful people in this business.
I got some names that I want to call. Alex Spiro, Desiree Perez, and the whole wicked system of Rock Nation, including you, Jay-Z.
Yes. Yes.
You who say you rose from the gutter, but you have traded and bartered the souls of young men.
It was a big year for pedophile movies, so in the end, he obviously didn't himself. Just like Jeffrey Epstein.
He's not afraid of 50 Cent. Why would you have to make that clear when no one's ever asked me if I'm afraid of Jay-Z?
I want everyone to be clear. No one's scared of 50 Cent.
There ain't never been no 50 Cent Jay-Z conversations. There's a huge difference.
To an FBI crisis intake report included in the latest release, an anonymous victim who claimed she had been and essayed in several instances throughout the years said Pusha T was one of her handlers. Also in the report, the victim said she once woke up in a room with Weinstein and Jay-Z with her. The report also stated that because the victim was drugged in both scenarios, her memory was clouded.
You know, Jazzo and Jay-Z were in London living it big time back in like 88. They were in this huge... I'm born and raised in England, and I never saw an apartment that looked like that in England, or a flat, as we call it. I've never seen that. They lived
there for a little bit?
They were there for like, I don't know, 5 months, something like that.
This is Moni Love confirming that Jay-Z was in London in 1988, living in one of the nicest luxury apartments. Jay-Z was known across the country, especially the East Coast, for being a prolific substance dealer. We are not going to sit back and act like he was not known before 1996. He was very well known. He made several big-time connections before 1996. This man is a horrible person and has always...
People like Jay-Z and Pusha T, they made their living our people, so how the f they gonna stand up for our people? You know what I'm saying? But we forget that because we love Jay-Z's music so much. We love Pusha's music so much, right? But you think they would ever, oh, Beyonce had the best fit for somebody else?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You think they would ever tell the truth? No, if they told the truth, I think they'd go to jail. You know what I'm saying? So you have liars.
Man.
Liars are now the face of our culture.
Posted these weird-looking AI photos of Jay-Z and said in the caption, "Damn, they got your man Jay in the Epstein files. I gotta do a doc on this stuff."
So you see how we do it here on the Saturday. This is what it's about.
Y'all talk all that about R. Kelly. Beyonce was on that island where they was...
Damn!
Beyonce was on island. Beyonce and the camel.
Yeah. They say she was in there like, uh-oh, 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 uh-oh.
Right.
I hope I can go see her again.
She was singing and look. If you like it, put your mouth on it. This is what I'm saying. It's like you give her a pass. You give her a pass. She can have a concert and everything after she's a known participant on Island. It's like people want to dismiss it. That's why you can't tell me nothing about what the media say about nobody.
Yeah, exactly.
Because the media is going to make a bad guy out of whoever they want to be the bad.
And I signed to Rock Nation. The first thing he told me to do is get plastic surgery. I'm not insecure because I would have got plastic surgery. People make it, they all can turn around and thank Beyonce because that's it. And enough is enough. I'm coming for everyone now. And even Adele, when she gets an award, she thanks Beyonce. Oh, I didn't want to drip myself in and cover myself and swim in goop, in black goop, and fucking like wear devil horns to sell a record. Fuck that. Or be a witch, or be that, all of that. Fuck call her.
What started as scattered whispers and half-believed rumors has now exploded into a full-blown internet firestorm, pulling some of the most powerful names in music and entertainment straight into the center of the conversation. In the span of just a few days, resurfaced clips, leaked documents, and old rivalries have collided in a way no one saw coming, with Jay-Z suddenly facing renewed scrutiny, not just from online critics, but from longtime industry adversaries who seem more than ready to talk. And when 50 Cent stepped into the chaos and hinted that this story is far from over, the speculation didn't just grow louder, it went nuclear. Jay-Z's name didn't just quietly reappear online, it detonated across timelines. Within hours, his name was trending alongside words no artist ever wants attached to their legacy, while 50 Cent jumped into the chaos with his signature mix of mockery and menace. Beyonce's brand, usually insulated from controversy, was suddenly taking visible hits as fans argued, unfollowed, and demanded answers. This wasn't a slow burn scandal. It was a shockwave moment, the kind where people stop scrolling because something feels different this time. And when 50 hinted that he wasn't just trolling, but possibly preparing a full documentary takedown, the internet collectively leaned in. The spark that reignited everything traces back to the latest release of unsealed documents connected to the Jeffrey Epstein investigation. Among millions of pages, videos, and images made public, reports surfaced that included allegations and secondhand claims referencing several high-profile figures, Jay-Z among them. These documents did not contain charges or conclusions, but they did include statements attributed to an anonymous accuser describing alleged encounters and associations. The language in the reports was cautious, filled with qualifiers and gaps in memory. Yet the damage was immediate, because once a name appears in that context, the conversation takes on a life of its own. What stood out most was not just the outrage, but the reaction that followed, a shrug from some corners of the internet. Many people admitted they weren't shocked. For years, Jay-Z's name had floated through conspiracy threads, blind items, and whispered industry rumors, never landing anywhere concrete, but never fully disappearing either. So when his name resurfaced, the response wasn't universal disbelief. It was more like confirmation bias snapping into place for critics who felt they'd been waiting for this moment. That tension between diehard fans and longtime skeptics became the fuel keeping the story alive. Supporters were quick to fall back on a familiar defense. That Jay-Z would have been too new, too insignificant at the time these alleged networks were operating to be involved in anything on that level. But that argument didn't hold for long once old interviews, anecdotes, and industry timelines started circulating again. Clips and stories resurfaced suggesting that even before mainstream fame, he wasn't exactly an outsider, with connections that extended well beyond what casual fans remember. Whether those connections mean anything is still an open question, but the narrative that he was just an unknown kid with no access began to crumble under scrutiny. As the internet did what it does best, resurfaced clips began circulating at full speed. Kanye West's past comments re-entered the chat, stripped of context by some, emphasized by others, and treated like puzzle pieces in a much larger, Messier picture. None of these moments proved anything on their own, but together they created the feeling of a slow, collective excavation, fans and critics alike digging through years of footage, lyrics, interviews, and offhand remarks, searching for patterns that may or may not exist. The uncertainty became part of the intrigue. Then came 50 Cent, not as a footnote, but as an accelerant. Unlike random commenters, 50 has history with Jay-Z, history with industry feuds, and a reputation for saying the quiet part loudly when it benefits him. His posts didn't read like idle jokes to everyone. They felt calculated, timed, and pointed. By floating the idea of a Netflix documentary centered on Jay-Z, he shifted the narrative from internet gossip to potential mainstream exposure. Whether that project ever materializes almost doesn't matter. The implication alone was enough to suggest that this story might not fade as quickly as others have. And that's where things currently stand. No charges, no definitive conclusions, just allegations, reactions, and a growing sense that the conversation around Jay-Z has entered a new phase. The question now isn't just whether the claims will be substantiated, but whether the sheer volume of scrutiny, resurfaced history, and rival voices will permanently alter how the public sees one of hip-hop's most untouchable figures. As the conversation grew louder, it didn't stay confined to one rivalry or one set of documents. Other artists, comedians, and public figures began resurfacing old interviews, podcast clips, and social media posts, framing them as moments that suddenly felt more relevant than ever. Claims and accusations, always attributed, always presented as opinions or personal accounts, started stacking up across platforms. Some referenced alleged industry pressure, others hinted at uncomfortable power dynamics, while a few leaned fully into darker theories about how influence operates behind closed doors in entertainment. None of these voices offered definitive proof, but the sheer number of people willing to speak, repost, or say, "I've been saying this for years," created the impression of a much larger pattern forming in real time. It stopped being about one allegation and started feeling like a broader reckoning, at least in the court of public opinion. That's when the cultural split became impossible to ignore. On one side, hardcore defenders closed ranks, pointing out the lack of charges, the danger of internet speculation, and a long history of successful black figures being targeted by conspiracies the moment they reach a certain level of power. To them, this looked like another coordinated pile-on fueled by rumors, jealousy, and cliques. On the other side were critics arguing that ignoring repeated allegations and uncomfortable associations is exactly how powerful people stay untouchable for decades. They weren't claiming certainty. They were questioning patterns, timing, and silence. The comment sections turned into battlegrounds, with fans arguing legacy and impact, while skeptics demanded accountability and transparency. Neutral observers found themselves pulled in any way, forced to decide whether silence was wisdom or avoidance. And that's where the story deliberately leaves us hanging. No official statements addressing every claim. No legal conclusions. No definitive answers tying everything together. Just a swirl of allegations, reactions, resurfaced history, and rival voices speaking louder than ever before. The question now isn't what's true, because that hasn't been established, but what happens next. Is this another moment where the internet devours a celebrity and moves on? Or is this the early stage of a deeper unraveling that won't be so easy to shake? That part hasn't been written yet, and the audience is watching closely to see which way it goes.